Samsung seems to be entering the slimming competition. The brand eliminated the S Pen and experimented with the Z Fold Special Edition, exclusive of South Korea. And now it appears that Samsung is headed the same direction for the Z Fold 7, which should arrive in July or August this year. According to _tipstercrow_row claims boldly that the Z Fold 7 will be the slimmest foldable of its time. When unfolded, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 measures 5.6mm, far thicker than its Chinese rivals, such the 4.35mm Honor Magic V3. The next Oppo Find N5, or the OnePlus Open 2, which is planned to launch on February 20, is even thinner when unfolded -4.2mm. As revealed by real-life photographs, the phone is approximately the same thick as the USB-C connector. According to an Oppo executive, the charging port turns into the limiting point regarding their slimming ability. Something like 4.18mm will still be slimmer than the 4.2, so you cannot rule out the idea totally. That said, the tipster believes that the Z Fold 7 will lack S Pen functionality, just as the Z Fold Special Edition. People are unhappy about the S25 Ultra as its S Pen lacks Bluetooth connectivity and the features it enabled in the previous. We will need to watch how the mass market embraces this adjustment, given the fact that the large screen foldables are even more focused on multitasking, and the S Pen is a vital part of a lot of the features. The Crease is another element I would want to see included personally. While its competitors have been employing a new hinge mechanism that fixes the issue, Samsung has made relatively little progress here. It remains to be seen how the Crease on the Z Fold 7 evolves, especially with the phone becoming even smaller. The S Pen isn't specific to the Samsung Galaxy S Ultra. While they're the only ones with a specific slot for it, Samsung's foldable phone can also take advantage of it. And with such a large screen, it would be a pity to miss out. However, Samsung is apparently on the precipice of a big strategy shift, a feat credited to the degradation of the experience of the S Pen. A slightly surprising prediction. The Z Fold does not allow the stylus to be kept in the chassis. You know the S Pen has lost its Bluetooth capabilities, allowing in particular to trigger the camera shutter remotely. A decision influenced, according to Samsung, by the tiny number of individuals who use this function. We then wonder how popular the use of the S Pen is on Fold, and if its niche nature does not risk driving it directly to the cemetery. After all, if those who buy a phone with a built-in stylus don't use it, we can readily anticipate that the usage stats for the S Pen on the Fold, which needs purchasing the attachment separately, €60, are not very brilliant. For years, manufacturers of folding smartphones have been engaged in a serious competition for thinness. The idea is to minimize the total footprint of the smartphone as much as possible to make it easier to manage and more elegant. Samsung's work in this area is already prodigious. The Galaxy Fold measured 6.9mm in 2020. The next Z Fold 7 is shaping up to be one of the most fascinating folding phones yet. Also, the rumors have been telling us recently. The phone will undoubtedly see a huge improvement in one area that has plagued previous versions: the crease. The information so far reveals that Samsung has enhanced its hinge technology to lessen the visibility of the crease, making it significantly less obvious during daily use. Given that earlier Fold models' wrinkles have been annoying, this might be a game-changer for individuals who have hesitant to accept Samsung foldables. Despite that, the Z Fold 6 Special Edition still has a crease that's impossible to overlook. Models from the Z Fold Galaxy, pun intended, have come a long way in terms of gradually getting rid of the crease. If the Fold 7 builds on that and takes it to another level, it may finally convince more slab buyers to make the leap of faith and hop on the foldable train. Important disclaimer: if you believe this will also help its clamshell brother, the Galaxy Z Flip 7, don't raise your hopes too high yet. Unfortunately, there is little information on whether comparable changes will be applied to the Flip model. Beyond the crease reduction, the Z Fold 7 is projected to debut with the forthcoming Snapdragon 8 Elite and Exynos 2500 processor in some areas as before, with both having a built on its recently stable 3nm manufacturing process. A 3nm chipset is believed to be highly sophisticated in terms of efficiency and power. If successful, this might represent the beginning of a bigger Exynos revival, potentially returning to the Galaxy S series with the Exynos 2600 in the future. Another update is expected on the camera front. The Z Fold 7 could arrive with an under-display selfie shooter. Other than that, the phone could include a triple camera arrangement on the rear like its predecessor, a 200 megapixels wide-angle camera with OIS, a 12 megapixels ultra-wide lens, and a 10 megapixels telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom. The OnePlus Open 2, also known as the Oppo Find N5, is slated to launch in mere days, on February 20 to be precise. That's months before the Z Fold 7. And according to early leaks, it may have an almost imperceptible wrinkle. OnePlus co-founder Pete Law previewed the new phone's display on social media, putting it next to a foldable that, nudge, wink, strongly resembles the Z Fold 6. The caption, "No crease detected," was a blatant dig at Samsung. While a little crease was still apparent, it is significantly less pronounced than the claimed Samsung's Foldable. If this holds up in real-world use, the OnePlus Open 2 might set a new benchmark. Here is what zooming in on the OnePlus Open 2 reveals, so don't tell me there's zero crease. Apart from that, the OnePlus Open 2 is turning out to be a very potent foldable flagship with its 8-inch inner display, bigger than its predecessor's 7.82-inch screen. The phone is also supposed to run on the powerful Snapdragon 8 Elite CPU and a speculated 6000 mAh battery, just enough of juice. Its notable feature, meanwhile, could be its reduced thickness at approximately 4mm when unfolded. I'm not too keen of thin phones, truth to be told, but that's wild. One of the most crucial aspects of a foldable phone, except from its price, for crying out loud, is the crease. As you may imagine, a noticeable crease is annoying, impacting both usability and overall user experience. Hey, nobody loves to open their costly gadget and find an unpleasant, embossed line from top to bottom smack in the middle. This item hampers visibility, especially when reading, gaming, or watching movies, and can be a deal breaker for people who desire a flawless display. A foldable's hinge design plays a major part in crease reduction, and firms like Oppo and OnePlus have made substantial progress in this area, as it seems. A well-engineered hinge not only decreases the crease, but also improves durability, which is another important selling factor. There isn't a scarcity of folks who drop stuff constantly. Expensive goods, on the hard floor, I mean. Foldables might very well be the future of smartphones. You get a huge display while preserving portability. Many users are eager to embrace the more screen real estate, but they need devices that are reliable, durable, and free from unpleasant compromises like the crease. What's known is that Samsung is working on a digitizer-free S Pen for Z Fold 7, which would help reduce both weight and thickness. Another tipster believes this updated S Pen has already passed internal testing. Maybe that's the downgrade in question. But since not every speculated feature makes it to the final product, it's wise to take this with a pinch of salt. That said, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 could very well be the slimmest foldable ever, at least in the Z Fold lineup. With Chinese firms pushing ultra-thin foldables, some as small as USB-C connections allow, as The Verge puts it, Samsung might be ramping up its game to compete with handsets such as the Oppo Find N5 or OnePlus Open 2. Moreover, the Z Fold and Flip series may commence manufacturing in the first week of May. So tell us what you think about this in the comments section. Then I will see you in the next one. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.